Sony is continuing to push out new flagship phones every 6 months, and the latest handset to arrive is the Xperia XZ3. It's got flagship specs, a sleek glass design, and Android Pie out of the box. I'm Alex from Android Central, and from IFA 2018 here in Berlin, this is our first look at the Sony Xperia XZ3. On the outside, the XZ3 is a refinement of the design language of the barely 6-month-old XZ2. There's more of a curve to both the front and back glass panels, and slimmer aluminium side bezels too. You've still got a single rear camera around the back, more on that later, and a fingerprint scanner way further down the back than any other phone in this size category. That's great if you've got smaller hands, but it does feel a bit weird coming from a modern Samsung or LG phone. The hardware build is actually really nice though. This is a sharp-looking phone clad in metal and glass, with symmetrical proportions and curves that make it feel like less of a brick than the XZ2. Around the front is a bright, vibrant Oled screen, the first in a Sony phone, with curved sides that blend into the metal frame. It hits the sweet spot for screen size with a 6-inch diagonal and Quad HD Plus resolution. And between the curved panel and slightly boxy proportions, the XZ3 feels a bit like a shrunken down Samsung phone. Sony has upgraded its S-Force front speakers too, and amped up the already thunderous haptic vibration feedback of the XZ2 for more intense vibration feedback in music, games and video. On the inside you get a standard loadout of high-end specs, a Snapdragon 845 processor, 4GB of RAM, and 64GB of base storage plus microSD. I've noticed a few performance hiccups in the early units on show here at IFA, but these should be smoothed out by the time the phone launches in late September. Other staple Sony features from the XZ2 are on board as well, including IP68 water and dust resistance, and Qi wireless charging for easier top-ups of the 3300 mAh power pack. On the surface, Sony's software hasn't really changed at all here, with one important exception. The XZ3 ships with the very latest Android 9 Pie, which is great to see. It's actually the first and currently only new phone to ship with Pie, and that means you get the redesigned notification area and all the other great features from Google's latest OS. Check out our Android Pie review for more on that. The rest of the UI is basically identical to the XZ2's Oreo-based software, right down to the retention of the old-style Android software keys. Sony isn't embracing gesture navigation just yet. Something which is new, however, is the new Side Sense feature, which is Sony's version of HTC's EdgeSense. Double tap on the side bezel to open up this shortcut menu on the left or right side of the screen, which can help you hop between apps, toggle settings, or shrink down to one-handed mode. Sony's 19-megapixel Motion Eye camera returns around the back, and there's still no secondary camera for either telephoto or portrait mode, though Sony has implemented a pretty good bokeh mode in software, alongside other features like 3D portrait lighting. And Sony's super slow-mo recording feature makes a return too, with 960 frames per second capture supported. We'll take a deeper dive into all the XZ3's camera features in our full review, but first impressions are of a decent camera with some unfortunate holdovers from earlier Sony phones. Basically, performance is good on the whole, but we're seeing a lot of noise and grain in some darker shots. The Sony Xperia XZ3 lands on September 24th, and it'll cost a whopping $900 unlocked. That's not cheap, but it's a well-specced, good-looking phone with the latest Android software, and definitely worth considering if you've got the cash to splash. That's it for now. Stay tuned to subscribe for more of our videos from IFA 2018 here in Berlin. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.